Welcome to Colorful Journeys of Success. Clare Mullin, producer, host, and author of Color Wheeling for Success, explores with her guests the stages of success in their lives. This show highlights leaders, teachers, coaches, mentors, and even parents who are role models who help change our world. How have you succeeded, and who was your teacher and inspiration? Now, who are the people you teach and inspire? Listen to and watch our fascinating guests as they share colorful stories of success and how they help inspire. Now, here's Clare, the color wheeling lady and our host.
Welcome to Colorful Journey of Success. So glad that you joined us because we're having fun tonight. We're switching again. We're trying. I think this is great. I'm not going to be the host. I'm going to be the guest. And the guest, or the host, is none other than Dave Kockarhook, and he's a wonderful producer and he knows what he's doing. So it's my pleasure to welcome Dave. Dave, thank you so much for
Hi, Claire. Good to see you again. It's always good to see you. We're both producers here at KMVT, and it's a lot of fun, and we've helped each other out on our respective shows and all that sort of thing, so that's really great. I'm excited to be here and have this opportunity to talk with you. I had the privilege of seeing and hearing the other interview that Arlen did with you, and that was very, very cool. I learned a lot about you that I didn't know.
Okay.
And I was hoping that we could dig a little bit more into some of the things that you're doing now tied to your color program, etc., and how all that really is coming together, and what you've been doing with people and stuff like that. So, I'm holding in my hand something you handed me at the beginning, which I think is very interesting, and it's you said it's your brain in color. So tell me about your brain in color here.
Well, you know, when I start getting headaches or anything like that, or stressed, I just kind of like massage my brain. And somehow, you know, this whole experience has been amazing because I have learned to train my brain in so many different ways, come up with all sorts of different ideas. And it's not necessarily just the color coding or whatever, but it's just like trying different exercises. I'm now studying jazz on the piano, and so it's all about training your brain. And it's not necessarily just because of an accident. It's like, hey, this is how we'll get to 100 years old.
I think that's a very useful and important point too, because I've read about this. I have some friends that are neurobiologists and stuff like that, and they talk to me about this concept of what they call brain plasticity, I think is the term, where if there is a problem and there's some sort of damage to one part of the brain, the body, the brain, is capable of redirecting some of those neural channels so that you can reach new plateaus. And for you, this is you're the poster child for this, because from what I heard on the last interview that you did, after the accident that you had, things were pretty blank. You had to almost start all over again.
Yes. In fact, I had an interesting conversation today with someone, a friend that kind of like went through some of the experience with me, and I asked him, I said, what was my conversation like? He said, you'd sometimes just go blank, and you'd start something, you'd start to say something, and you'd just go blank.
Wow.
And that is so many times, even now, if I'm stressed, I just kind of like, I can't pull the words together.
Yeah, they're still hidden in there somewhere.
Yes.
Got it. So let's move this forward into a conversation about the colorful. You've got a couple. Your program is called Colorful Journey of Success.
Right.
And you have a business that's built around the color concept, but it's beyond colors. It's more than colors, isn't it?
Yes, it is beyond colors.
So let's talk about that.
Let me give you the history on Colorful Journey of Success.
Sure.
When I took the class here to be a producer, at the end of the show, or the end of the class, then Bobby asked, well, what's the name of your show going to be? And I said, well, I was just going to take the class. I wasn't ready to really get started. He said, oh, come on, Claire, you can do it. And then, excuse me, I thought about the term that I had come up with before about what I called my recovery.
Right.
Colorful Journey of Success. It was a journey of success.
Right.
And it was very colorful because I made it colorful. So that I said, okay, the name of my show is going to be Colorful Journey of Success.
I'm going to speculate something here. When you talked about that journey for you being colorful, it was beyond just red, blue, green. I got the impression when you said that it had to do with the development in areas of your life that brightened things for you beyond just looking at the 6 basic colors.
Well, there's such a thing as color therapy. And I've always been involved with color, but I've never grouped and organized them in such a manner for recovery of an injury. And I found that by doing that, it helped me organize my brain. So as you see, basically there's 6 colors in this little brain.
Right.
And when somebody handed this to me, I said, hey, that's perfect, I love it. So I just set it there. But there were a lot of steps along the way. The writing became really significant because I had so much anger, and this is typical of traumatic brain injury. I was angry at the attorney, I was angry at the doctor, I was angry at myself. But it's a natural phenomena where there's anger and there's fear and the emotions are all wrapped up and everything is all mixed up. So I started writing and I brought this on the set just to show. As you can see, it's kind of like scribbled, but anyway, I have this next to my bed and I would just pull this up and I'd start writing in the dark, 3 o'clock in the morning.
What kind of things would you be writing about?
Well, initially, I would just kind of like flush out my anger and I'd just scribble, just like whatever I felt, the emotions. But after a while, then I thought, oh, I could do some maybe creative writing because in Toastmasters, you have to write your speeches.
Right.
And so that's when the concepts would come to me. I'm thinking about a topic. And it's interesting because 3 o'clock in the morning, your brain is rested. You've already slept 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning. So that's my writing.
It's your creative time, your creative writing time.
It's a wonderful time.
So did the concepts for developing a program around the colors come before or after you started the Toastmasters process?
After.
After.
Because initially when I was with Toastmasters, all my topics were about fashion and image because that's what I had. That was the business prior to.
Right, I remember that, the beautiful clothes that we had here at the last show that you did, yeah.
And my whole garage is full of, it's kind of like an inventory of costumes and gowns and things like that, and fabrics. And my office, which has nothing but books and files and things like that, used to have sewing machines, cutting boards, fabrics.
Oh, sure.
Well, so very different.
You were creating costuming. So now, how did your activity in Toastmasters lead you into the process of developing a program that could be brought to other people?
Going through the recovery, I needed to keep organizing and organizing my thoughts.
Okay.
And that was so hard to do because I was so scrambled and it was so hard to focus. And still, at times, it's still hard to focus. I found that by taking those little Post-it notes and keep reminding myself to brush your teeth, make your bed, eat 3 meals a day, all of the basic things that I had to, in a sense, relearn, that was my way of constantly working my brain. And the doctors, when I'd see them, I couldn't really communicate with them very well because I couldn't speak. But they'd say, you have to keep reminding yourself and keep reading if you can. And I couldn't read. And they gave me a brochure all about what is traumatic brain injury. And I have this green brochure and they handed that to me, what was wrong with my brain. I couldn't read that. It was so frustrating.
But eventually you were able to cope with that. And,
yes.
And that would have been before you got into Toastmasters, right? This,
well,
what you were talking
let's see.
about
I got
here.
into...
Getting this information and the inability to speak, etc. Would have happened well
I
before
joined Toastmasters, and then the next year I had the head injury.
Oh, I see. You were in Toastmasters
I had just
before.
joined.
Oh, okay.
A little bit. Mm-hmm.
So I want to move the clock forward. I
Okay.
really want to figure out how it was that the color activity came into play from an organizing activity that you could then present to others.
Well, I started by helping myself. And so I took all of my little Post-its and I put them all out on the kitchen table, mm-hmm. and I started grouping them. And I wasn't sure how I was going to group them, but it started evolving. Mm-hmm. And then I had these groups, and I thought, well, how will I identify the groups so I can remember, because I've lost my short-term memory. Mm-hmm. And then I thought, well, the one thing that I know very well is a color wheel, mm-hmm. and it'll never change. There's
right.
always going to be 3 primary, 3 secondary. And that's what a natural. And I thought, well, okay, if I have 6 colors and 6 life areas, these little Post-its or the reminders would fit within each one of the groups. And so it just evolved and evolved and evolved.
And it was successful for you. It actually
yes.
brought you a lot
It's been phenomenally successful, because every 6 months I create a new life plan.
Ah, okay.
And so every 6 months for the rest of my life, for 100 years, because I also came up with a chart, 100 years, the past, the present, and the future.
Which is similar to the storyboard that's behind me over here, right?
Right.
It's over here now, right?
Well, let's see, there's another, I don't think we have it up here. I think we'll maybe put it on the computer or something like that. But there is one particular big board for 100 years.
Yeah, it had a whole bunch of,
mm-hmm.
I remember seeing that. But that past, present, and future concept is really good. So as you got into this present scenario, you started being able to develop the color wheel that you could then use to help other people organize. Did it
Yes.
start off in terms of organizing one's environment, or did you start, because you were talking earlier too about the ability to take this into more of a, how do you organize, and from a business perspective as well. Did you start out more with, how do I organize my space?
No, not space. No, it was just your life.
Your life, okay.
Your life, because everyone has a medical, okay, so red represents health and image. And so everyone has health and image on the inside and the outside.
Right.
Right? You have illnesses on the inside maybe, or on the outside, maybe you want to lose some weight. Also your wardrobe and your image. So everything that is on the inside and the outside referring to, that's all about red.
Okay.
So that's just one example.
Got it.
So everything, like when I see a red light, I come to a red light at the corner, that tweaks my mind. Okay, my goal, did I meet it? What are my steps today? Am I actually moving forward with that particular goal?
Got it. Interesting.
So
Very cool.
memory triggers.
So the goal setting, etc., is very important
Yes.
to the process
Right.
for a life plan or a business plan or whatever.
Right.
How does the game tie into that?
Well, that's to come. That's a product to come.
That's a product to come. Okay.
That's
'Cause I see the
coming.
board there.
I
but-
know. Well, it's having fun. We've always been creative in my family, and so creating game boards and creating, designing different things. But as you can see, let's see, to the right, upper right, it says business progress.
Right.
Okay, that's when I thought, okay, well, if I can create my own personal life plan, that's in the middle. That's me. And that's 1998. Well, okay, so that's about the time that I thought, well, I'll do this maybe in business too, try it out in business. And I was a member of the Chamber of Commerce.
So, and you
So
started
I-
as a business approximately when? What year?
Oh, it's hard to say. It's hard to say, because one thing that I have come to realize is I don't really have a business sense.
Okay.
That's one skill I just don't have. So whether it's because of the injury,
all right, well, let me rephrase that then. When did you start taking the things that you'd learned for yourself and begin to help other people with them?
well, I've had some clients that I've tried, and because things are not really published per se.
Sure.
But I've experimented with them. Like one lady came over one time. She was very upset. I said, "Listen, I'm going to try something. Let's just have some fun. Sit in my grandfather's chair, rocking chair." And so I put some music, and I said every time. Oh, and then I gave her one of these pads. Like
Right.
I put that on the lap, and I said every time I change the music, I want you to draw something different with your eyes closed.
Huh.
So we were experimenting. So I said, at the end of this, I will prepare, while you're doing this, I'm going to prepare lunch, and we're going to have lunch when you finish. We ended up with this beautiful piece of artwork.
Oh, wow.
And then we colored in the spots and the little shapes and spaces. And then I said, let's have some more fun, and let's put some words. Just any word you want in these different places. So it's just, always coming up with creative ideas.
So it sounds like, just working on that example, it was an opportunity for this individual to release some of whatever the problem was that she had internalized.
When she left, she said, "Claire, you changed my life. You changed completely different." It was about visioning.
There you go.
It was about visioning.
And I think that's probably true for, if you're going to, for the process that you've been talking about in terms of business plan or life plan or whatever, the vision is a key thing. Everyone's in whatever position they are right now.
Right.
And they can either stick there and wallow in whatever they've got.
Right.
They could let the wind blow them wherever the wind's going to blow them, or they could make a conscious decision to put a vision out and to find a way to work toward that vision. Clearly, it's something that you've done.
Yes.
So that success of having done that gives you the opportunity to help other people do the same thing, which is very cool.
This is my value of visual awareness of mind training. It's an article that I wrote all about what I came up with mind training. And for example, here's just a very, very simple example.
Sure.
Okay? How many times have you heard people say, "I can't"? Or have you ever said that?
Constantly. You hear that all over the place.
I can't.
Yeah.
Well, if you take the T away, what do you have?
You can.
I can.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can. So, next time you say "I can't," or you hear somebody say "I can't,"
Just tell them to drop the T.
Drop the T.
Yeah.
Yeah, drop the T.
Very cool.
So, I started out by recently learning jazz on the piano.
Yeah, tell me about that.
Well, he's a jazz pianist. His hands just dance over that keyboard. I just love it. It's so much fun to listen to him. And he said, "You're going to be able to do this." And I said, no, I can't. No, I can't. I can't do that. I don't even remember how to read the music. But guess what?
You're doing it.
It's starting. Yep.
That's that whole thing about the very first thing you were mentioning, training your brain or retraining your brain.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So the articles, things like that. Now, you're still in Toastmasters, are you? Are you still with Toastmasters?
That's where you you learn so much, and I'm giving back. I'm there to support anybody and mentor anybody, but I still keep learning.
Right.
We keep learning. We learn from the beginners. We learn.
Of course.
We listen to people tell their speech, give their speeches.
Right.
I'm still learning.
And it seems to me that I remember you're saying that you were either are intending to or had joined the National Speakers Bureau. Is that correct?
Yes. They had a program called ProTrack, and I joined at the wrong time. That was about the time when I was trying to deal with contractors and roofers, and because we had a major disaster in my home. This giant tree fell down on.
I remember hearing about
that.
Right.
So anyway, I couldn't focus on what I was supposed to be doing for NSA. So now I finally signed, I just deposited the last check from the insurance company.
There you go.
Oh, and I put the files away, and now my desk is color-coded.
Right.
My office is color-coded.
Cool.
I have all my files literally in 6 colors.
Beautiful. You know, I'm going to take the conversation in a direction that you and I have talked about a little bit, because I think it's you're a living example of something that I think needs to be understood and recognized by a lot of other people, and that is traumatic brain injury is not something that is visually apparent.
Correct.
And there are many, 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 many people out here who have had a problem.
Yes.
A concussion, a fall, hit by a car in a car accident. These guys coming back from, guys and gals coming back from Afghanistan and
Right.
Iraq, etc. And so when you talk about giving back, what is that an area, or
Yes.
is that a focal point for you?
That is definitely giving back. When I wrote the research paper, as elementary as it was, the healing mind, miracle of the healing mind, turn a disability into an ability, and then a career. Now I'm turning it into a career. And so because of all the help that I've been given, all myself included, I can now develop ways to help others and give back and give to and help other people. And to me, that's a passion.
That's great.
That, how do we keep improving our world?
Right.
Right? And the guests that come on to our shows, the criteria for me anyway is that they have a success story, but they have to be helping other people succeed.
Oh, cool.
So,
that's very cool.
So it's definitely, the VA hospital, I don't know that much about what it's like to be a soldier. But I'd have to learn something more about I'm certainly not a neurologist.
Right.
But
I don't think that's the key thing. I think the key thing is that you have had the experience, okay? And you have found a way to move through it. And just by that example, it gives other people hope. One of the things you said at the beginning was, you run through this set of emotions, anger, fear, frustration, all those sorts of things. And that's a process that you have to go through.
That's right.
And so many people will just succumb to that.
Right.
You didn't succumb to it. So you can be an example and a beacon of hope and light to anybody else who has had an issue. Well, you are. I know that you will be. You are.
Well,
I mean, the first time we met and I heard a little bit about your story, I was flabbergasted. I mean, I knew you as a producer here at KMVT. I'd seen you here and doing some stuff with the shows, and I thought, okay, well, Claire's a cool gal. I kind of like her, and maybe we can, help each other out here and there, because our shows are in different days, different times, and all that sort of thing. So we don't come together quite as often as we could. But it's you're doing it. You're accomplishing your objective, and I think it's totally fantastic. So what's the next step for you? Where do you want to take this from here?
Well, as of this morning, I was interviewing an assistant, possible assistant, to help me. She has all the experience with actually setting up the business. I really don't. And for me to try and take a class in how to learn how to set up a business, I'm not, I'm a designer. This is what I've learned about me, because I kept thinking, yes, I could, yes, I could. Well, I realized that's really not my skill set.
Right.
And I'm better staying with the creative process where I can excel and let somebody else take the reins.
I'm going to support you on that concept.
Okay.
I have I spent over 20 years in the software industry, computer software industry. I worked with a lot of startup companies one way or another. And the creative mind that wrote the programs, who then tried to run a business, many times didn't do it very well, and there were all kinds of problems, because that focus was on the creative energy and the creative side and the vision. Okay. You need the visionaries, but you need somebody that can be in there and actually establish the organization and do all those things that need to be done. So having that kind of...
And to me, that's boring.
To you, that's boring. Exactly. Well, there you go. See, that's the other part
really
of it.
Boring.
There are people that love that. And so that's where they should apply their energies and efforts. You should be doing the creative stuff because that's where you thrive.
Yeah.
So I think that's a smart idea. Yeah.
Well, I love to create product. And I love to create concept. And so today in the interview with this lady, she was writing down the different steps. And so she said, now this is your homework. She was breaking it down in smaller pieces. And she said, okay, here's a piece you can have. Here's a piece you can have. You can be creative within these smaller pieces. And I thought, okay, I don't have to take the whole responsibility. That's good. That's better for me.
Yeah, exactly.
And make it work.
Very cool.
So, and I said, because the program is every 6 months, you get 6 months to do, to create this.
Right. Very cool.
Now, I've created the concept.
That's a reasonable time frame for a moderate goal. Not a 5-year goal, but a 6-month goal makes a lot of sense.
Well, the color wheeling program is every 6 months. You create a life plan and a business plan now.
Very cool.
So it's a 6-month, and every January and every July you start again. And what you haven't finished, then you see, okay, what did I learn?
Roll something over.
You roll something over. What did I learn? What didn't work? What did work? And you also, because there's 6 stages within the process, to visualize, prioritize, color-organize. I love that word. That's my word.
We'll get that one in the dictionary one of these days.
Okay. To actualize, analyze, and then to celebrate your success with a party.
There you go. That's an important part too.
Yes.
If you don't celebrate your successes, you got to give yourself a win, even if it's just you going out and toasting to the stars.
Well, it's wonderful people like yourself that, you know, you said that you would handle tonight's show, and that's great because I'm not used to having somebody else handle it.
There you go.
So
we're running out of time here. I think I've got to give this back over to you because we've reached that point where you have to wrap up. So Claire,
all right,
back to you.
Okay, thanks so much, Dave. This is fun. This is fun. So thanks so much for joining Colorful Journey of Success. I sure hope that you come and join us. And if you have an idea, if you'd like to be interviewed, please let me know. I want to talk to you. I really do. So thanks to the crew. Thanks to you, our viewers, for joining. I hope you got something out of this. If you know somebody that has a traumatic brain injury, or someone within their family or their employer, any that's related, it's really important that everyone become more aware. What's it like? What is that person going through and experiencing? How much help do they need? Can they help you? This is how we improve the world. So, again, thanks for joining Colorful Journey of Success. And you have a wonderful day, wonderful life. Bye for now.